What up, ballers? Welcome back to the bar where the takes are hot and the drinks are cold. We put out fresh NBA content on this channel almost daily, and we are live every Wednesday night at the same time, 6 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, midnight Eastern Standard Time. If that sounds like something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to the channel, and while you're down there, make sure you smash up that like button as well. My name is Calvin. Barry, welcome in, everybody. It is Wednesday night. We are hanging out here. We got a lot of NBA subjects to cover, and Barry is kind enough to take time out of playing NBA 2K to join us. Barry, how's it going?
Thanks, Calvin. It's going good. It's a beautiful hump day. And yes, I've been playing the Jordan Challenge all day long. I'm trying to get it done. And I will continue to play during the stream today. So we'll have something fun to watch while we're discussing some of these awesome subjects.
I'm sure we have a lot of NBA 2K fans out there that are going to watch this. Barry, you are much more of a 2K veteran than I am, even though I do enjoy playing the game. Can you briefly just kind of give your first impressions of the game and how it stacks up to previous 2Ks?
Well, I mean, the shot is different, like it seems like they change it every other year or so, right? Where they have like the shot meter is in halfway up and then it's all the way at the top. So I'm still getting used to the shot meter and everything, but I do enjoy it so far. I've only made myself a character once, and I've done a little bit in the career mode, but mostly I'm just been doing this Jordan Challenge, trying to get these moments done, Calvin. So I think I'm on moment number 12 right now out of 15. So trying to get these done. It's definitely reminding me of 2010 Jordan edition. Lots of fun.
Yes, of course, NBA 2K23 has to have a Jordan edition, a Jordan celebration, right? So these are just a handful of some of these, as you mentioned, Jordan moments where you basically are given a set list of goals to accomplish to win the game. What happens when you accomplish or complete all of the challenges? Do you know?
I do not know. And I'm also, because it says season 1, I'm assuming that maybe every month they reset and maybe there's more challenges or more surprises, rewards. I'm not quite sure, but it is a lot of fun. So if you're a 2K fan, let me know in the chat, man. Let me know what you like. Drop your user tag in there, your gamer tag, and let's play together sometime.
Sounds like fun. We'll definitely get a good look here. This is what Father's Day game, right? Against the Supersonics?
Yes,
right
sir.
After Jordan's dad passed away?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well,
it's kind of cool. Not the greatest graphics in these classic games, but it is really, really cool.
Yeah. In other NBA news today, we got a few topics to cover. Of course, Robert Sarver, the ongoing Sarver saga continues. It is announced today that he has initially started the plans to sell both the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury. There are some big names, of course, that are interested early on here in buying the team. Barry, this is definitely something that I think we kind of saw coming. All the social media posts from current players, LeBron James, Draymond Green, Chris Paul, you knew that there was going to be a lot of backlash here, especially I think coming from the players regarding this situation, and it just seemed kind of like a foregone conclusion that Sarver was going to be on his way out of the league, whether it was self-imposed or coming from the NBA specifically. First of all, are you surprised that Sarver is basically doing this on his own right? I mean, obviously people have been voicing their opinions about him and saying that they want him to sell the team, but are you surprised that he did this so quickly on his own right? And the big question is, how much money is this team going to sell for? They're valued at $1.8 billion right now, but I think a lot of people are expecting the team to sell for much more than that.
Yeah, well, first off, it's it's like going to a party, right? Like, do you really want to be at a party if no one wants you there? That's basically where Robert Sarver is currently at the moment. You know, he wants to be at the party. Nobody else wants him there. So he's finally like, okay, maybe I'm not going to go to the party. I think he's doing the right move. But I'm also not surprised at all, because a guy like him, you know, you see all these allegations and all these things that are going on. He seems like he enjoys having the power, right? And I feel like if he was forced to sell the team, whether it was the players or the other owners, you know, he basically loses that power. So, you know, I see him basically right now saying, I'm still in control. I still have the power. I'm choosing to sell both teams. So I get it. I definitely get it.
Yeah, I think he's looking at this from a financial standpoint, right? I mean, how could you not? Robert Sarver is a banker from his background, and I think he realizes that he may not want to sell the team, but every day that he doesn't sell the team, they're going to be devalued a little bit more. We've already seen sponsorships saying that they're going to start to pull their agreements once the current contract ends with the Suns. This was just going to be a bad move for him financially. So now even though he's kind of a pariah when it comes to the NBA and he's being cast out and all this stuff, he's still ultimately the winner here, right? Because he gets to cut a check for like $3 billion perhaps, and go about living his life as if nothing really happened. So
what year did he buy this
interesting
team, do you know?
situation. I don't know, actually. Let's try and find that out.
Because I remember like the Donald Sterling situation, right? That's easily the most comparable situation, right? He had owned the team for so long that it was almost stupid for him not to sell it at that point. Like,
right.
He had made so much money from that team that, yes, he was forced out. But I'm curious to know how long Roberts owned the team for. Also wanted to throw this out there. Did you see David's comment on the story on Facebook today? Because you know David is a big Suns fan. Did you see his comment?
I did not see the comment.
he said he should sell the team to Donald Trump because then it won't be a big shock for the employees because he has the same management style.
Wow.
I thought it was hilarious, man. Obviously, he's joking, right? And then, of course, everyone takes it the wrong way on Facebook, and they start posting these like anti-Donald Trump things, and it's just hilarious, man.
Social media is a slippery slope, right?
It is.
Well, I have the answer here for you. Robert Sarver bought the Suns bought both teams in July of 2004 for about $400 million.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
the Suns are currently valued at $1.8 billion.
Don't feel bad for him.
No, I don't think anybody is going to be feeling bad for Robert Sarver anytime soon.
Did you
who
see
do you
the
think's
guys
going to
that
buy?
were interested in potentially acquiring the teams?
I did. Jeff Bezos. I don't know the guy's name from Disney. Igor?
Bob Igor, I think.
Igor. And why am I blanking now?
Our guy Larry Ellison.
Larry Ellison, that's the other name. Yep.
He owns Lanai. I gotta say, personally, Calvin, my favorite right now is Larry Ellison, because that dude, you know, whatever you want to say about billionaires and all this stuff, the dude has done an amazing job here in Hawaii taking care of people. If you don't know, he owns a ton of property on Lanai. He's the majority landowner there. And during the pandemic, when everything was shut down, he paid all his employees to stay home and do nothing. He brought food to the island. He really helped take care of everyone. So I'm a big Larry Ellison fan.
Yeah, I think that would be a pretty interesting story. I mean, it will be an interesting story, whoever ends up buying it. I think Jeff Bezos probably has the advantage right now in terms of assets, right, or money to be able to spend. Who knows? Maybe the Suns Arena will get renamed to Prime Arena or something like that.
The Phoenix Amazons.
The Phoenix Amazons. Yeah, so who knows how long this process will actually take until it is officially a done deal. Unfortunately for the Suns, their employees and their players, it's probably going to drag on a little bit into the opening of the season. But I think the fact that we're at this point already before preseason games have even started is going to make life a lot easier for guys like Chris Paul and the rest of the players.
Yeah, good point. And, I keep saying I feel horrible for Chris Paul because he's had to go through this twice now. I just hope that this isn't another excuse for him to, underperform or do bad this season. So I just hope it gets resolved as soon as possible because the dude's got to have a clear mind before the playoffs start, even way before that, because Chris Paul needs a ring, man. That's what he's missing.
Yes. Yeah. Well, moving on to some breaking news in the NBA today that actually this story just kind of started unfolding within the last couple of hours. There's still a lot of questions left to answer, but there's big news coming out of the Boston Celtics camp. Woj earlier today reported that Boston Celtics head coach Ime Udoka is facing potential disciplinary action for a team violation. This is including perhaps a significant suspension, which of course we have no idea what significant suspension means, but it is for an unspecified violation of organizational guidelines, basically a fancy way of saying he broke team rules in some way, shape, or form. We still have no idea what the infraction is. We don't know how long he will be off the Celtics bench and away from the sideline or away from the team. But Barry, this is a pretty big deal, right? I mean, Boston, Of course, they started off, very slow last year, had a huge second half of the season to race to the top or to second in the Eastern Conference standings, and then went on to lose in the NBA Finals. But you can't bank on that happening again, right? And people might be forgetting also the Boston Celtics' number one assistant from last year, Will Hardy, is no longer with the team. So is this a big deal, and how big of a deal could it be for Boston?
This is a huge deal. This is absolutely huge. Would any team in the NBA that just made it to the NBA Finals, and whether they won or lost, would any team want to suspend their coach for a significant part of the season? Would any team want to miss their coach for any part of the season? No. So he had to do something really bad. I don't know what it is. If I were to guess, I would say it's probably an HR issue. But I don't know, man. We're going to find out more, I think, in the next couple weeks, but this could be a huge, huge story, Calvin.
Yeah, the timing of this story is very, very problematic. Because I'm not really sure what this means for all basketball activities, right? If you're suspended from the team, my thought is you probably can't be at practice, you can't be in the facility, and training camp starts next week. Preseason games are going to be just a little bit after that. The Boston Celtics as a team, are pretty set. It's not like they're a struggling team, on paper or with the players that they have. They should be able to weather a small storm here for a little bit. But Robert Williams is having knee surgery again. He's not going to be with the team to start the regular season. Now the head coach is going to be out. They went through a bunch of difficult times last year with people saying that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown really can't play together. They need to trade one of them. There was the story in the offseason about the Celtics offering Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant and how that really pissed off Jaylen Brown. This does not sound like a good equation for a team that's looking to repeat as Eastern Conference champions.
Yeah, it doesn't. I do have to say, though, if you look at all the stuff that happened last year, all the adversity, all the drama, I think it helps strengthen this team. I don't know if I can say the same thing for what's going to happen this season, but all I'm thinking about is keyword significant suspension for breaking a team rule. And if the team, and here's the thing where I'm stuck, right? Where yes, you want to hold people accountable, but suspending your head coach is going to significantly impact your basketball team, right? So whatever he did had to be bad enough to where they're willing to take that loss. And then what does that mean as far as like NBA, right? Like if he did something so heinous, how could he not be punished by the league?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is definitely an unfolding story that I think we're going to be learning new details about, for a while here as we near closer to the start of camp.
Yeah, it's just a weird situation. And I thought he did a tremendous job last season. I was really excited for him and the Boston Celtics going into this year. So hopefully whatever this is, it can be resolved sooner rather than later. But yeah, huge blow to the Boston Celtics. Huge blow.
Absolutely. They are the odds-on favorite right now to win the NBA title. I think both based off of online betting and just the sports writer's choice at the moment.
Wow.
Does that change your opinion of them at all?
Oh man, it's too early to tell. It's too early. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
if you're talking 10-game suspension at the beginning of the season, no, it's not going to affect that at all. But if you're looking at anything more than that, then yeah, there could be some significant issues. And like I mentioned, what does the NBA do? If it's this bad to where the team is taken in their own hands, it's got to be something that the NBA might punish as well. I don't know. I'm going to stick with
we'll
HR
have to see.
issue.
Maybe the team is taking this stance so that it doesn't get to that point where the NBA has to step in, right? Like they're using the excuse of, well, we're policing ourselves here, so NBA, calm down. You got enough to deal with Robert Sarver and all this stuff. Let us handle this situation.
Yeah, could the two be related in any way?
Oh man, that would be wild. So we will definitely keep you updated on that story as we learn more details. I'm sure that Woj, who's always a busy man, is going to be extra busy for the next couple of weeks here. Quick check-in on the game, Barry. How's it going? The Bulls are up big.
Yeah. So we're looking pretty good here. Basically, objective number one is win the game. You play to win the game. That's always while I'm playing, and we're looking pretty good here. Objective number two, I got my 22 points. I'm working on rebounds. Rebounds are tough, as you know, in this game. I'm working on assists right now, and then obviously I got to win by 12 or more, which is in the books so far. So rebounds and assists right now is what I'm working on.
Best of luck to you. It looks like the game is in the bag. I don't want to speak too early, but if it's anything like the real Jordan and the Bulls, then yeah, you can pretty much call it done at this point, right?
We're looking pretty good right now.
All right, should we talk about some injury updates in the NBA before the opening of training camp? Some not good news here for a couple guys and a couple organizations. We'll start in Oklahoma City, where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, it's reported that he has suffered a grade 2 MCL sprain. He is going to miss the start of training camp. The Thunder announced today that he will be reevaluated in a couple of weeks, so that means he will miss at the very least their first two preseason games on October 3rd and October 5th. Barry, I know not many people are expecting a lot out of Oklahoma City this year, but they already lost Chet Holmgren, the number 2 overall pick for the entire season. Now this news, not good news if you're a Thunder fan.
Well, I think this is great news, Calvin. We're talking about SGA last night on our other show and comparing him to De'Aaron Fox. And I remember one of the main things I said was, what he really needs is a team around him that's going to help him. And that's going to happen through the draft, right? They have not traded for anybody big yet. They've been accumulating draft picks. Yes, it's unfortunate that Chet Holmgren's out for the year after you just acquired him in this year's draft. But they are racing for the number 1 pick in the draft in Victor Wembanyama. So I think this is actually a positive for the Thunder.
Yeah, I could see how you would spin it that way from a tanking perspective. As a fan, I'm thinking this is a bummer because he's the only player on this team that I really want to see. I mean, outside of maybe Chet Holmgren, right? But we know he's not going to be there. So this is unfortunate for a fan because SGA is one of my favorite players in the league, actually. I think he's a, kind of like a sleeping giant pretty much. But it's bad news, but it could have been a lot worse, right? It's an MCL sprain. There's no ligament damage or anything like that to his knee. He's definitely going to make a full recovery, and we hope that he's not going to miss too many games.
Do you think the Thunder ultimately hold on to him and he becomes their, franchise player for this rebuild, or do you see them moving him for picks, kind of like what Philadelphia did with Michael Carter-Williams after he won Rookie of the Year?
It's hard to say, but I have to think that their plan right now, at least, is to keep him. I mean, they've already got a boatload of picks, right? So moving him for more picks is kind of like one step forward, two steps backwards, in my opinion. I think
or maybe an upgrade. Maybe they trade him in a pick
perhaps,
for, an all-star.
Well, I think this guy is an all-star. I think, like you said, his biggest problem is that he doesn't have a team around him. I mean, he averaged, almost 25 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists last season. That was in 56 games. I think this guy is one of the bright young talent. There are many of them in the league, but he's definitely up there, I would say, at only 24 years old. So you've already got a ton of picks. You've got maybe some other young pieces there that could also be good trade pieces or, complementary pieces to him moving forward. I think it would be a little premature if they were to move on from him.
Yeah, I see that. I agree as well.
In other injury news, and this one is maybe a little bit worse than what's going on with SGA, the Chicago Bulls have announced that Lonzo Ball will undergo an arthroscopic debridement of his left knee and will be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. The surgery is scheduled for next Wednesday in Los Angeles. Barry, Lonzo Ball has had a pretty rough 18 months. This will be in total the third knee surgery on this left knee in his time in the NBA. He's only 25 years old. He had knee surgery in January of last season to repair a torn meniscus. Every time he tried to ramp up his workouts and his training regimen to get back to basketball activities, he felt discomfort in that knee. It was supposed to be, again, like a 4 to 8 week sideline from the game. Never made it back last season. Didn't play in any of the remaining regular season or playoff games. Now they're announcing that he is going to have another surgery right before training camp. 4 to 6 weeks puts him somewhere in early November probably for a return. However, the Bulls did say that he will be reevaluated at the end of that 4 to 6 weeks, so it is not a guaranteed thing that he comes back in early November. This is just a huge bummer if you're a Bulls fan, right?
Yeah, it is a big loss for the Bulls. And unfortunate for Lonzo as well. Early on, I thought the dude was just faking and he was just, trying to get out of all these matchups with De'Aaron Fox where he kept getting smoked. But now I'm starting to think, dude, maybe this guy really is injured. Maybe he really has been injured. But no, in all seriousness, I read an article. It was over a year ago, and I saw a bunch of videos from some sports writers talking about how his own shoe brand that his dad pushed him to get in on really affected him as a Laker when he was young. He caused a lot of knee and ankle injuries due to a lack of support in the shoes. And I even saw interviews from former players saying that Lonzo Ball was switching out his shoes multiple times during the game because they were blowing apart mid-game. So I hope this is not related, but if it is, oh man, that is a ultimate gamble lose.
Yeah, the Bulls are now putting a lot of stock in two guys, LaVine and Ball, who have had a long list of knee and lower body injuries over the course of their short careers. Of course, as a Bulls fan myself, I hope that Lonzo Ball makes a full recovery and he gets back sooner rather than later, because they definitely need him in a loaded Eastern Conference to make a run here.
Yes, they definitely need his playmaking ability, his defense. But who do you think is going to step up? Kobe White, is he your guy, or?
I think Kobe White is still probably going to be the sixth man off the bench. I wouldn't be too surprised to see them start either Alex Caruso or even second-year man Ayo Dosunmu, who is a Chicago native, second-round draft pick of the Bulls last year. He started a ton of games for them and really kind of was forced into a role that they did not expect for him when he was brought into that team last year. He performed well, obviously had some ups and downs, but I think Kobe White is still going to be the sixth man. They want him kind of as that microwave scorer off the bench.
Dude, I'm a microwave scorer, dude. All I can do is score with Michael Jordan. I can't get any effing rebounds, though.
What do we got here? Third quarter, 2:45 left. Wow, that was quite a shot from Gary Payton.
Dude, the rebounds are the toughest part by far. Part of me wants to just, like, get him under the basket and, like, try and miss shots just so I think can get rebounds.
I think you need to pass the ball and just jack up shots with everybody else and try to stand under the basket for a rebound.
Okay, I will try that next.
That might be the move.
the good old Russell Westbrook, huh?
Exactly.
God.
Speaking of athletic point guards, Dennis Smith Jr. has a new home for next season. Of course, he played with the Portland Trailblazers last year, and it was reported by Shams earlier today that he has agreed to a one-year deal. We still don't know the amount of the deal, but a one-year deal with the Charlotte Hornets. Barry, is this a good move for the Hornets?
I think it is a good move. You get another athletic point guard. I wish Dennis Smith Jr. could stay healthy because I really do like the guy. He's a lot of fun to watch, but he's fallen off pretty far, man, since his days in Dallas. But if he can remain healthy, I think this is a great move for Charlotte.
Yeah, I like the move. I think Dennis Smith Jr. is a very solid backup point guard. I just feel for Hornets fans, man. Like, this is another team that they just can't seem to get any type of momentum going for them. As soon as you think they're onto something, it just evaporates right in front of you, right? Like, obviously, LaMelo Ball is a very bright part of this team. I think he's going to be a really good player for a long time. But they just can't get any momentum as a team. Miles Bridges comes out, has a career year, bets on himself, stands to make a ton of money, whether it's re-signing with the Hornets or in free agency, and then he screws that whole deal up himself. Now he's probably not going to be, definitely not going to be back with the team this year. They lose out on Montrezl Harrell. They've made a bunch of really interesting roster moves over the past couple of years. This was a team that going into the play-in tournament last year, you kind of had the feel of like they might be onto something here. They might be an up-and-coming team in the Eastern Conference, and it just seems to have evaporated into thin air.
Yeah, do we have any updates on Bridges? And, speaking of guys that screwed themselves, I know he definitely screwed himself, and he's going to be dealing with a lot of a lot of court drama and legal battles and all this stuff. But
yeah,
I got to throw Dennis Schroeder out there as well for a dude that screwed himself. Didn't he decline like a $80 million deal with the Lakers just 2 seasons ago?
4 years, $84 million offer.
And he signed for $2 million this season?
He just signed a 1-year, $2.6 million deal.
Man. Betting on yourself sounds great. And it works sometimes. If you're LeBron James, if you're Darrelle Revis, if you're one of these guys, it can work for you, but it also can backfire.
It can. Miles Bridges and Dennis Schroeder, definitely not the level of players that LeBron James and Darrelle Revis are or were, I think. So maybe betting on yourself helps when you're one of those guys for sure. But you have to, Darrelle Revis and LeBron James aren't doing anything off the field, off the court, to put themselves in harm's way and risk losing out on millions of dollars. So there's definitely that aspect as well.
Yep. Man, I don't know if I'm going to get these rebounds, Calvin.
It's going to be tough here. How many do you have?
I need 7 more.
7 more. You already got the assists.
I got everything.
Well, it wouldn't be a Jordan challenge if it wasn't difficult, right? Winning the game's the easy part for Jordan.
Hey, also, I think we should give a shout out to the Las Vegas Aces. They won the WNBA championship this weekend.
That is true. First major professional sports championship in Las Vegas history coming from the Aces. Yeah, congratulations to Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray, and the rest of the squad. And Becky Hammond, of course, right?
Very cool.
Former
for them.
Spurs assistant.
I do have to say, whoever's in charge of the scheduling, horrible. Why would you schedule it during Sunday football? Just saying.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think a party in Vegas doesn't really matter when it happens. You're going to be there for it anyway. Were the Raiders were at home that week? They were, right?
Yeah,
they played Arizona at home
to the Cardinals, right? Yeah. Late.
Maybe that's why they scheduled the parade that day, because they knew that the Raiders were going to implode. And they wanted people to have something good to feel about.
Oh, man.
Okay, so moving on here. One last story, and this is an interesting one. Your boy, Dwight Howard. There's a story on LakersDaily.com right now.
Your boy.
That Dwight Howard is considering changing sports. Of course, he's still a free agent, hasn't yet been signed to an NBA team. And this story says that he is strongly considering joining the WWE. Barry, you're a big wrestling fan. Do you want to see Dwight Howard out there wrestling?
Calvin, don't spread fake news, dude. I was a wrestling fan when I was a kid. Don't really have much time for wrestling nowadays. But congratulations to Dwight Howard. I still think he re-signs with the Lakers. But maybe him and Gronk can form a tag team.
Yeah, in the story, Triple H,
rebound.
Who of course, there you go. Only 6 more, right? Triple H, who of course is a legendary wrestler himself, and is now I believe, running the WWE, or at least he's in charge of their talent search.
Yeah, he took over because McMahon got ousted for some no good stuff, some Robert Sarver stuff.
See, and you call yourself no longer a wrestling fan.
Dude, I read the news sometimes.
Well, in this story, Triple H is saying that he has had multiple conversations with Dwight Howard about this subject, and that Dwight has told him, quote, "I want to do this. I want to make this happen." However, he still hasn't committed fully to this, and I think that is obviously because he's still hoping that his basketball career is not over. However, we've seen other athletes do this in the past. I know you mentioned Gronk. Tyson Fury's name has come up also now within the WWE. He might be doing some crossover there as well. It's a cool thing. It's fun. I think Dwight Howard is definitely the right type of athlete for the WWE, right? I mean, he's a huge guy.
Showman.
But he's also a showman. He's an entertainer. And Triple H even said that when they had him in their facility doing a tryout. They said he was all over the place. He had no problem, sticking his face in a microphone and riling people up. And he said it was really, really entertaining. However, Dwight has still not fully committed. I think it would be fun to see, but I'm much more willing to watch Dwight as a basketball player. Personally.
Yeah, me too. I'm interested to see how it works out and how long he's actually with them, right? Because we've seen guys like Donald Trump jump in the ring before. We saw Shaq jump in the ring before in the past. So, is this just going to be, a couple different times, or is he going to be actually on the circuit as a wrestler? It'd be interesting to find out. I'm wondering if they can play off that storyline of him not being able to sit down, because that shit was hilarious, man.
Yeah, bringing out the chair has a whole new meaning, right?
All right, I need 4 rebounds in a minute and 20 seconds.
You're up by 40.
I got to channel my inner Dwight Howard for these rebounds.
Man, I can't. I got to say, this is making me really happy to watch as a Bulls fan. It's bringing back a lot of fond memories of Gary Payton claiming that he was the glove and able to shut down Michael Jordan, but of course we all know that wasn't true.
The glove gets no love nowadays.
You want to talk a little fantasy basketball? Are you playing fantasy this year?
Dude, I was going to ask you that. What do you think, dude? Should we do a fantasy team maybe together? Maybe we can put it here on the show. We can do it live. Like, it's so much work, dude, that I think I would do it if we could both do it on the same team.
I'm open to doing that. You know me, fantasy football is the only fantasy sport that I play because of that exact reason. I just don't like having to set my lineups 5 times a week, 4 times a week, whatever the case may be, having to deal with injuries, all that stuff. It's a lot to do in just football. Basketball is a whole nother level. Oh, who is that, 50?
Three rebounds short. Dude, I played
Better start
fantasy
jacking up shots.
basketball last season. And
That's not how you get rebounds, man.
It's not. But sometimes you just got to dunk on somebody to make
you got to do the Dennis
better.
Rodman. Just throw it at the front of the rim 7 times in a row.
Right? But I don't think I even finished last year's fantasy basketball. I don't even know what position I got. I think I gave up like a month in.
I have never played fantasy basketball before. But I think it would be fun to do a team on this channel and see what results we could get.
I'm happy because I won and I completed 2 of them, but now I got to play this same game over again so I can do that last one. But it's okay. We won. We did it.
We won. Look at Phil and Dennis.
So, you have any big NBA news you anticipate coming out this week? I know you were talking about we're just a little bit away from training camp. I know the Sacramento Kings start training camp a week, I think from today. But any other things you expect to come out in the next week or so?
These games are so realistic. That's so ridiculous. Sorry, I'm just watching Jordan cry and I had the flashback of seeing him on the floor there cry after this game. It was pretty ridiculous.
Did you see that last one? It says I needed 22 points and 9 rebounds, and I got 64 points, 11 assists, and only 6 rebounds. I should have got credit for that, Calvin. With 0 turnovers, come on, dude. 30 of 40.
That's a pretty good game. 30 of 34
30
from
of
the
34.
field. Oh, man. I guess it's actually not too unrealistic to think Jordan could have a game like that, but
This game's a lot of fun, man. I really enjoy it. I know Ethan's trying to get a PlayStation 5 as well, so maybe we can play together online, make a character, and stream some games. That'd be really fun.
definitely. That would be fun.
All
But no,
right,
to answer your question, in terms of big news, I'm not sure you're going to see anything major. The biggest news might be for the next couple of weeks what disciplinary action in fact happens to Ime Udoka and what effect that has on the Boston Celtics. But other than that, teams are going to go to training camp. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening during training camp, but I don't think you're going to see breaking news until we get to the point where the final roster spots have to be set, guys are cut, and opening day will be upon us before you even know it.
Give me your thoughts on maybe these are related, maybe they're not, but what ultimately happens with Russell Westbrook after they sign their 8th point guard? And what about all these veterans that are just sitting here on the Utah Jazz? They can't be too excited to start this season. So what do you think happens in both of those situations?
Well, for Russell Westbrook, I don't think anything is going to happen. I mean, in terms of interest around the league, there's pretty much no interest in trading for Russell Westbrook at this point, which is kind of amazing. He might be the only max player in NBA history that's ever received zero interest on the trade market. Like even Ben Simmons has interest on the trade market, right? And
I mean,
Russell
there was
Westbrook
some time
can't
with
get
John
anything.
Wall, right? There was I remember John Wall and I remember Gilbert Arenas, both max players, injuries, but Westbrook's healthy.
Exactly. That's the difference here. Westbrook, I want to say what up to Mike, by the way, who just joined us here in the chat. We're
Mike?
playing the flu game, Mike. We're playing some 2K, talking Russell Westbrook and what's going to happen with him. And
Rebound.
I think he's going to start the year with the Lakers. I just don't see any team willing to put together a deal. The Utah Jazz probably are the only team that really it would make any type of sense for, because they could maybe lure some draft picks away. But we also saw, I don't know if you saw this, but there was a story about why the trade failed with the Indiana Pacers for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, and that's because the Lakers were reportedly unable or unwilling to include their 2 unprotected first-round picks. So
stupid.
If the Lakers aren't willing to give those up, I don't see the Jazz really having any need or want to trade for Russell Westbrook. Their goal is to rebuild and gain draft assets, right? So
the Lakers
that doesn't make any sense to me. I would agree with that, but there is a rumor out there, potentially the San Antonio Spurs are still willing to trade for Russell Westbrook, but that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me either. So I expect him to start the year with the Lakers, and I expect him to come off the bench being paid $47 million, which is pretty ridiculous.
The only reason I see the Spurs trading for Russell Westbrook is to pat Greg Popovich's stats, get him some more wins so he can retire.
How is he going to do that? You think Russell Westbrook on that team makes them win more games?
Then currently, yes. Yes.
How many more games are we talking?
Maybe 5. Not a lot.
5. That's a lot. 5 wins. Plus 5 from one player is a big deal.
Dude, they could have the worst record in the West.
Yeah, absolutely.
Russell Westbrook's going to help him some. But anyways, so you think he starts the year with the Lakers? Do you think he finishes the year with the Lakers since there's no interest? Did they pick up these other point guards so that if Westbrook's not cutting it, they can just kind of bench him?
That would be so crazy to me. If you're just going to basically throw him away, I mean, why not just buy him out, right? Like, cut your losses and move on. This is unprecedented territory, I would say, for the NBA. Like, we're talking about a guy who, we agree Russell Westbrook's going to be a Hall of Famer, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. Nobody wants anything to do with him.
Do you remember when they...
it's so weird.
Do you remember when, I don't remember exactly when, maybe it was 2012 or something like that, but it was the collective bargaining agreement where they introduced the amnesty clause that was because of Gilbert Arenas' over-bloated contract.
Yep.
Now, does that still exist? Like, can the Lakers amnesty him? Or do they have to, waive him? Sorry, Loa's having a lot of fun over here.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. All I can say is that I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. And if he does get cut or bought out or amnestied or whatever the case may be, I'm not sure a team. I think it would have to take a pretty significant injury for a team to take a chance on Russell Westbrook midseason.
Man, sad. The mighty have fallen. I really liked Russell Westbrook a lot, man. I really loved his energy, his attitude, right? A lot of people, like when he stayed with Oklahoma City and Durant was gone and he's like, no, I want to stay on this team. I want to win on this team. I want to beat everybody. We loved hearing it, but it, like I said, you bet on yourself. It doesn't always work out. Another example.
Yeah, and as time goes on, these guys have been so good for so long, so dominant, especially somebody as athletic as Russell Westbrook. I mean, to have some of that stuff be taken away from you, whether it's father time or injuries or whatever the case may be, that's got to be a pretty sickening feeling. But as you and I were talking about, Carmelo Anthony, for example, was willing to accept a different role. Right?
Yep.
And that's ultimately what got him back into the league, got him back into a situation where he was playing meaningful basketball for a team that had a chance to win. They didn't obviously do much because of injuries, but he put himself in that position.
$47 million.
That's also true, but I mean, he was already out of the league before that, right? Westbrook is just happens to be under contract. My point is, if you want your career to continue, like Dwight Howard, like we were just talking about a second ago, you have to be willing at some point in your career to make some sacrifices, to make some changes.
Yep.
And it doesn't seem, this is all hearsay, right? Like just the stories that we hear coming out of the Lakers organization with the battles with Frank Vogel, not wanting to pass the ball, as Mike so eloquently puts here in the chat. But, those are the things that are right now, in my opinion, are hindering what Russell Westbrook from being a contributing player on a team.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy stuff, man. Hey, Mike, I want to hear from you. Did you check out the new merch on the team store? I want to know what gear you like. We're going to be putting out some more stuff soon as well. Calvin and I are getting some cartoons made of our faces, so we're going to make some cool shirts and merch with that, some patterns. But if there's anything in there you currently like, let me know, because I'm interested. And if you have any ideas on things that you do want to be in the store, let me know, because we're definitely open.
100%. All right, so we're playing the flu game now, right?
Yeah, dude, I'm feeling okay.
What are our requirements for this game?
I had the pizza flu. It wasn't a real flu. It was a pizza flu. We got to win the game, which I'm good at. We got to score 38 points. You also know I'm good at that. 7 rebounds. I only have 1, and 5 assists, which I can do that too. So rebounds. I need to average. So if it's 7, I basically need 2 a quarter.
Awesome, man. That's great to hear, Mike.
Which gear did you like, Mike? Do you like the pocket with the Royal Rebounds logo? The long sleeves look pretty cool. I really like the long sleeves.
I do like the long sleeves. I was wearing the End the Streak long sleeve yesterday on the show, and I like that shirt a lot. The material is really nice and light.
How many people have to wear that shirt, Calvin, for them to end the streak?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I think the number is going to be high.
Did you get any clarity from work yet on potentially being able to go to that game on against the Golden State Warriors on Sunday?
Well, I'm off on Sundays, so it's not necessarily a question of work. It's a question of me wanting to buy a $500 flight for 24 hours, pretty much.
Yeah. Dude, you got to get that Hawaiian Airlines credit card, man. Could be racking up miles.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Did you get a credit for your flight that you had to cancel for the wedding?
Yes, I did.
Because that's what Asha and I are using. We're using our credit from the wedding. We just transferred it right over.
Oh,
which is cool.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
But
unfortunately, the credit is with United Airlines, and I'm not the biggest fan of United Airlines. But
hey, dude, ours is exactly the same. But United Airlines was very, very fair to us, giving us the credit, so they're back in my good graces right now.
Well, that's good. They still owe my sister a cello, so until they do that,
I think we're flying out Friday to LA. We're gonna take the red eye, hang out in LA on Saturday, go to the Rams Panthers game on Sunday. Then we're flying up to Sacramento on Wednesday to do Kings Blazers. And then Saturday we're going to Walnut Creek to hang out for my uncle's birthday. And then Sunday we're going to 49ers Chiefs. And I'm going to try and go to Kings Warriors. If I can make it I would love to do that. I've always wanted to do 2 games in one day. And then we're going to be hanging out in San Francisco for a couple days. So,
Man, that sounds like a really fun week.
maybe you can get like switch so you work Tuesday night instead of Tuesday day, and then you could take the red eye Saturday and hang out Sunday, Monday, fly back Tuesday.
That's possible. Yeah, we'll have to check it out. Mike, which Mavs? You already have tickets to the Mavs game? Which game are you going to?
Panthers are hot garbage.
Hot garbage. How's your fantasy team done?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's doing okay. I picked up a Chicago defense this week, so I'm gonna stream them. I also picked up for some reason I drafted the Packers defense. I was just thinking that they were gonna be good like last year, and losing all those guys has not been good for them. So this week I'm streaming Chicago and Baltimore's defense. I dropped Julio Jones in one league, picked him up in another league because my guy Mike Evans is suspended, which is total BS because it's Tom Brady, man.
Total BS, huh?
Yeah, it's Tom Brady. You got to protect Tom Brady.
That's true. He even protected Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure it's just a Tom Brady thing. I think it's a Marshawn Lattimore thing. But
a Mike Evans thing and a Marshawn Lattimore thing. Oh, that's funny.
Mike's 2-0 in fantasy. Congrats, man. I have 2 teams. I'm 2-0 in one league. I'm 1-1 in the other league. So I'm feeling pretty good early on.
That's good, dude. I'm 1-0 in one league and 0-2 in another. That dude, was it Ramador Stevenson or whatever his name is, the running back from New Orleans? New England. That dude's really screwing me over.
Wait, did you say you're 2-0 in one league and 1-0 in the other league?
No, I'm 1-1 in one league.
Oh, 1-1. Okay.
And 0-2 in the other league.
Okay.
Just a lot of
Mike's going to
unluckiness.
Not quite his name. Yeah, I don't think that's the correct pronunciation either. But that's
Correct
okay.
me, Calvin. What is it? How do I pronounce his
I
name?
don't know how. I have no idea how you say it.
I need to know it when I'm cussing him out on Sundays.
I think just use his last name and you'll be good.
Oh, that's funny.
Mike's going to the February 10th game in Sacramento against Dallas. We might have to try to make a trip out there. It could be another one of our trade deadline trips.
Dude, that would be so cool. I've always wanted to go to
Ramondre.
All-Star Weekend, too, which is around that time usually as well.
Yeah, I think we can pass this year, though. Salt Lake City?
I don't know.
Doesn't really do much for me.
It's looking pretty nice right now.
Oh, yeah?
I'm here, dude. I'm in Utah right now.
That's true. Bulls are only up by 2 this time.
Yeah. Right
All
behind
right,
the bench.
let's get a stat check.
Stat check. All right, 10 points away from 38, 5 rebounds away. Oh, man, I need to get some assists. 3 assists away. It's okay, man. Jordan
you got
didn't
a
do
whole
this
nother half.
once.
I think he did, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I would have got more rebounds, but I just wasn't feeling so good, I had the flu. Come on, Scotty.
Likely excuse.
Dude, it's crazy when you're playing these older games, unlike the game that you have downstairs, NBA Jam. But when you're playing these older, realistic games, you really just start to realize how much better they have gotten at shooting the 3 ball in the past 10 plus years.
Yep.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and it's across the board, right? I mean, every player that's in the league right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how tall they are.
Yeah, speaking
They're
of the
all
Jazz,
out there jacking up threes.
I remember like one of the first stretch big guys was that guy, Mahet Okor or whatever?
Mehmet Okur.
I remember him and who was that dude with the Spurs? Bonner, and they had another guy too that were these like classic stretch fives, and now everybody's a stretch five.
Yeah, it's positionless now, right? Positionless basketball.
It really
What a beautiful thing. Oh, Jordan's got the flu icon on him.
Did you see the article that came out last week talking about Ben Simmons and how potentially Draymond Green could, prove the Ben Simmons role, and that if Ben Simmons can be more like Draymond Green or play that position in an offense, he could potentially have success this season? Did you read that?
I did not read that.
I thought it was a great article because that's one thing that I was talking about originally last offseason when the Kings were going after him, is I was like, put Ben Simmons in a Draymond Green role. Let him bring the ball up the court sometimes, but let him focus on defense, rebounding. You don't need him to shoot a lot. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see how that would work. The problem is Ben Simmons is really good with the ball in his hands, right? Like, he's good in a lot of ways. Transition, fast break. Ben Simmons is better, though. He's a better ball handler. He's a better passer. And Draymond is a good passer, but he's not the same as Ben Simmons. Like, I think, look, I've said this so many times, but Ben Simmons' biggest problem is that he just isn't playing. Like, when he was playing, yes, he has had bad moments in the playoffs. He's missed a bunch of free throws. Everybody gets on LeBron for not shooting free throws that well in clutch moments, right? I think we've all kind of let that fall by the wayside, right? Like, Ben Simmons is a really good basketball player. He just needs to play basketball. That's his biggest problem. I think he's in a good situation right now with KD and Kyrie Irving. Now, do you want him to handle the ball 100% of the time on that team? Probably not. But Ben Simmons, to me, is more dynamic of a player than Draymond Green.
Any thoughts on what you expect from Ben Simmons this season? Because, I mean, honestly, if he doesn't do anything this season, things are not looking good for him.
Well, what do you mean by doesn't do anything? Meaning he doesn't play, or he plays and he plays really badly?
Both. Like, he's got to play and he's got to play well.
Yeah, and I think he will play well. I mean, look, like I said, he's a very talented player who I think is in a very good situation. He happens to play on a team that has 2 of the 10 best players in the world on it. So they should be a good team, a competitive team, and I think it's a good situation for him. But my biggest problem with Ben has just been the inability to get himself ready to play, whether it's physically, mentally, or a combination of the two. Like, you can't be in a better situation than you're in right now, in my opinion, for him. Coming from where he went from, the way the exit with Philadelphia went, getting trashed so much by Philadelphia fans and NBA fans as a whole, and then you get traded to Brooklyn, of all teams, which has been the favorite to win the NBA title for a couple of years now. Like, that's just
Daryl Morey.
Yeah, it's a dream come true for him. So I think he's in a good situation. I see him playing well. Am I going to expect him to make the All-Star team? I don't know about that, but I think that he will have a good year, and the Nets are going to be a very good team if they work everything out together and if they all stay on the court for, more than half the season.
Any guesses on whether he'll rank for Defensive Player of the Year? Because, I mean, honestly, that's what he really needs to do on this team, right? Is play defense.
Yeah. I don't see why not, right? I mean, if he's healthy enough to play, that's something that he already does really well, and he's been, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate for a good portion of his career already. So now you put him onto a team where he really doesn't have to worry about doing anything else. They're not going to rely on him to put up 20 points a game. Not that anybody else was really, or not that Philadelphia was. But I just think it's a good situation for him. I'm not so sure about, people have said, well, maybe play him at center, play him power forward, play him all these different positions. That stuff kind of worries me a little bit, just because it's hard for a guy who's never done that before in his life to all of a sudden do that at an elite level on a championship level team. But again,
that's very true.
I think he's in a good situation for his skill set, a good situation to be coming back to basketball on a good team, a competitive team, and a team that, again, they are going to rely on him to play good defense, rebound, help them run the fast break, transition, get to the basket, stuff like that. But again, when you play on a team with two players the caliber of Kyrie and Kevin Durant, there's not going to be as much attention on you, certainly on offense. So I think that all benefits him.
I think he's got to play the power forward for them. I mean, you got Joe Harris is back. I think he's got to play power forward, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not so sold on any one position for him. Like, Kyrie Irving is very capable of playing off the ball. Certainly you're going to want to get him the ball and have him create plays for himself and plays for others. But he's very capable of doing that. So I don't really see that much of a problem with letting Ben Simmons, and maybe you want to call it a point forward role or whatever it is, but I would say, especially for a guy that hasn't played in as long as he has, try to keep him as comfortable as possible,
Yep.
Don't ask him to do too many things that he's never had to do before.
Yeah, that's true, especially for integrating back into a brand new team, hasn't played in a while. Shout out to Mike. Thank you, Mike, for joining us, and have a good evening.
Good night, Mike.
But I mean, if I were to look at a blueprint for success for Ben Simmons, right? I mentioned, the potential for the Draymond Green role, but honestly, what has been the major comparison for Ben Simmons is LeBron James, right? That Ben Simmons has kind of been like a cheap man's LeBron James. Obviously, LeBron didn't shoot the ball well early on in his career. He's gotten much better. Ben Simmons has not made anywhere near the same progression at all. And LeBron was a better shooter when he came in the league than Ben Simmons. But I look at the Miami version of LeBron James, where LeBron bulked up. He played the power forward a lot. He didn't shoot a ton of threes. He worked his way inside. You remember when he was on that streak of like, I think it was like 60 or 70% shooting every single game for like maybe 10 or 17 games. It was right after they got Birdman and they went on that huge winning streak. But I think a role like that could fit Ben Simmons exceptionally well. But he's got to work on his post moves, and he's got to be willing to work down inside.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very interesting to see how they use him going forward. Let's get a quick update in this game. Barry, I thought all you do is win, win, win.
I'm winning, dude, but I'm worried about getting rebounds right now. I need 4 rebounds in the fourth quarter.
I don't know, man. You might want to be a little worried about winning this game also.
No, dude. I got this game on lock. Don't worry. Don't worry about that.
We just need 4 rebounds and a win, yes?
4 rebounds and a W.
Everything else is already completed.
Yep.
Man, Greg Ostertag. That guy.
Dude, the dude is humongous.
The center position has changed a little bit in the last 20 years. I'll just say that.
He kind of looks like Jokic.
He looks like Jokic, doesn't play like him.
I saw something today that they were talking about, if you had to build an NBA team with any player, they did a survey of sports writers and GMs and all this stuff. Jokic was number 1 on that list. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a handful of guys that you would be able to put into this conversation, right? I don't know if there's any one right answer, but having a center that is so dominant inside, can shoot from outside, and might be the best passer on your team, that's a pretty good weapon to have.
It is, but I think I'd rather have Giannis or LeBron James but it depends, right? Are you taking them right now, or are you taking them?
Well, yes, of course.
From the
I
start,
think prime LeBron definitely trumps Jokic at this point.
Yeah. All right, dude. I think we're ready to wrap up the show.
Yeah. Hey, Key Kings just joined us. What's up, man? Nice to see you.
What's up, Key Kings? We're just kind of wrapping stuff up here. I'm playing some NBA 2K, the Jordan Challenge. If you got anything you want to discuss, we can hang around for a little bit. We got 3 minutes and 15 seconds left. I got to get 4 rebounds.
Barry needs 4 rebounds, and he's got to win this game. It's a tight one. Barry, you're making too many shots.
Dude, it's like cheating playing with this guy, dude. He just runs past everybody. I'd be curious, if I ever invent a time machine, I'm gonna bring Jordan to this era and see how well his game does without the 3 ball.
Oh, come on, man.
Yes. Oh, come on, Dennis. Dude, I like it a lot. It's really fun. I mean, I didn't play 2K much last season. Calvin and I played a bunch the year before during the pandemic, like a lot. But I was playing this. I just got it. Was doing the Jordan challenges. I was trying the 2K view, and I was garbage. Had to switch it back to the NBA live view, and I started finally winning some games. But it's a lot of fun, man. Jordan challenge is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to...
Oh, come on, Malone.
To have a video game that evolves with you over time as you play, right? Like, it's a pretty weird but cool thing.
It's cool, except for every time I turn on my PlayStation, I got to download a freaking update.
Yeah.
Every single time, it's like download
one side
update.
Effect, right?
Oh my God. Another update? I don't think I'm going to get it, Cal. I'm definitely winning this game, though. Look at this. Yeah. Can't stop. Won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
So, Calvin, I know you've been delaying since, we were so early on in the offseason. You want to give any predictions. But now, we're about to head into training camp. Who's winning the title this year, Calvin?
Ooh, that is a tough question. There's going to be quite a lot of competition. I'll give you this. I'm going to take the Clippers to win the West. And I'm going to take might be just not quite being able to give up my incorrect pick from last year, but I still like Milwaukee in the East. I think if they're fully healthy, they're the best team. So Clippers, Bucks for the title, and I'm going to go Bucks again.
Wow.
Oh, look, Key Kings agrees with me. Great minds think alike.
Clippers, Bucks in the finals. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, dude, the Celtics stuff is really crazy, dude. Key Kings, what do you think that he did wrong? That's what I'm thinking, right? I think it's an HR issue, but I don't know.
Whatever it is, it's got to be serious because you obviously wouldn't suspend your head coach internally a week before training camp starts unless he did something pretty serious.
It's not like he was late to practice or something.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have done it. I don't know. Maybe they caught him wearing a Lakers jersey or something.
Maybe they did.
You know, you're like,
Maybe
that's
they
a
did.
violation of team policy. You ever do that again? Maybe he did it again. Who knows? Maybe it was a Kobe jersey. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Dude, the rebounds are really hard to get in this game, man. What did MJ average rebound-wise for the career?
for his career,
Yeah.
I want to say it's around 6. That's my guess.
Oh, there you go. The Athletic. He had an improper consensual relationship with a female within the organization. I mean, that was my guess when I originally heard it. I mean, we don't know if that's true or not, but interesting.
Huh. That is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting because,
A consensual relationship.
yeah, like Phil Jackson, he had a consensual relationship with the owner of the Lakers, never got suspended.
Right? Yeah, I'll be interested to hear more details on this.
She also had a relationship with Dennis Rodman, too, right? No suspensions there.
Was that while he was playing for the Lakers, though?
I believe so.
It was?
Didn't Jeannie Buss date him when he was there? Or was this?
That's my question. I don't know if he wasn't there for very long. So
Yeah, it was towards the end.
Also,
Maybe-
on that subject, did you see Shaq said by far the worst teammate he's ever played with in his career? Dennis
Yeah.
Rodman.
Yeah, because you played with Dennis Rodman when Dennis Rodman sucked. I mean,
I think Dennis, his game definitely changed a lot by the time he got to the Lakers, but his attitude never changed. That was the difference, right?
yeah, and when your
Like
when your game
it's easy
is
to overlook it when he's one of the best players on your team and super vital to you winning a title. But if he doesn't quite contribute the same way, then it becomes a bit of a different story.
things change a little bit for sure. Well, cool, guys. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us for another episode. This was a lot of fun. Key Kings, thank you for joining us late. We will be live next week, Tuesday on Royal Rebounds, Wednesday, Basketball at the Bar. Calvin, I don't know. We might have to do Thursday next week since the Kings are starting training camp. Really depends on if there is any news or anything that comes up, but we will definitely give some updates on all this crazy stuff that's going around in the NBA. Any last words, Calvin, before we wrap it up?
No, thanks for watching, everybody. Barry, sorry you couldn't complete any challenges while we were on the air here, but I know you'd be hard at work the rest of the
I got
night.
them completed, Calvin. There's 3 each game. So both games I got 2. So I got 4 challenges done.
Oh, so it saves those.
Yes. You don't have to do them all at the same time. Like
That's
you could
bullshit,
score.
man. I think you should have to do them all in one game.
Oh, man, that's funny. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. And as always, don't forget to smash up that like button, hit that subscribe button, and tip your bartender.